And there it froze again. No idea why it keeps on doing that. I will get to the bottom of it, but not this week. Yes, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. I'm in a splint, and I'm likely to be for some time. Certainly no guitar for me this side of Christmas. Unfortunately, just one of those daft little accidents that I kind of told you about last week, and I put a couple of things up on the community post. I'll go through it all in an abbreviated form right after I've had a drink. God, I need this. Oh, marvellous. And a few people are asking what I've done. I'll get to that in a moment. We'll just have a quick run through the roll call, see who's teacher's pet first in and all that. Oh, it's Steve Hale from Cumbria. Then Rent to Kill, Mark Colonel, PFY Guitars. Anton is in. Then we've got Terry Day, Steve Entwistle, Grandpa Joe, and Michael Dodds. James Hunt is there. So is Timbo, Luke's Sinkovich, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Johnny H, Theme Tunes, Johnny Random, Rob Bald, Dave Fiendish is there. So is Robert Galbraith and Joe McMurray. There we got Dogfather 61 and who else? Ian Clark. And Peter Borthwick is in. So is, scroll down a bit, Amadeus, and who else we got? Let's have a look. We got Dr. Gomez 1, Sean House, John Ross, Peter Nicholson, sometimes dim, never thin. David James is there. So is Stephen Sproson and John Channing and Paul Trainer BSC. There's Cylon Hybrid, Ben Allmark, Cal B and the Rocco Cat. Vincent Brennan is there. Danny Hancock is in. So Savvy 64, Chris Otwell, Eric Luttinger. Hope I pronounced that correctly. Steve Cassidy Guitar, who's off out gigging this weekend. Good for you, mate. There's 60s Man, and we've got Steve Entwistle, Peter Goddard, Timbo is in. So is Peter Goddard, 1960, Graham Reeves, John Jones, 60s Man, and let's have a look who else we got. Watches and Guitars. There's John Mack and Stratboy 999, Deco Dude, Colin Falcon, Rudiger Ehrlich. Can I also participate? If I drink wine, you can drink whatever you want, mate. Then let's have a look, see what else we've got. Who else we've got, rather? The Essex Cat is in, and who else? Bill Mumbo is in, just had his cataracts done. Hope it all went well, mate. Then David Mitchell is there. Rent to Kill, bringing up the rear there. You're usually near the top of the list, aren't you, mate? There's Cy Rollinson, Charlie B, Dave Snack Stevens, and we got Big Borky, we got Russell Gibson, we got Cal Texper. Hoping my fingers are better. Well, as you can see, there's an update on that. There's Neil Roberts, Martin Bick, Stuart Young, Phil is in, Dudley Squat, Jeff Crouch, how are you, mate? There's Brad Dowell, Pablo Hank is in, Thomas Mulvaney is there, so is Dennis Flock, Johnny Love, Michael Belliveau is in, and let's scroll down, I'll see we've got Gordo Canuck, and Big Borky saying, what time for a one-handed guitar? Let's have a look. Who else we got? A lot of people going, blimey, John, what happened? I'm going to tell you in a minute. Then we've got Sargi is in, how are you, mate? There's Malcolm Spillett. Triple Distilled. I'll be having some of your namesake later, mate. Purely medicinal, of course. Then there's Ken McGurr. And let's have a look, see who else we got. We've got Ian Rouse and Guitar Bass Dude. And Nathan is in, Steelhorse 75 and Pete 77. Henry F. Potter, ding dong indeed. And Jerry W. is watching from Henderson, Kentucky. I've said it before, but it always just kind of strikes home to me that what a diverse little community we've got here from all over the place. And I apologise if I've missed anyone. There's Gary Shaw and Tony P. I see what you've done there, Tony P. Yes, indeed. Graham Campbell saying, my arm is in the perfect position to play bagpipes if you get bored. All the best for a quick recovery. Thank you. Then there's Jay Aoyong. Right, okay, let's get this out of the way. A week ago on Wednesday, I was out walking the dog on the afternoon, and long story short, I got my finger caught in the lead, the third finger on this hand, got it caught in the lead, and he pulled the wrong way. My finger went the wrong way, and hence this. Didn't feel much at the time. Got home, realised that my third finger on my left hand, my fretting hand, wasn't working when I tried to play guitar. So went to the local walk-in clinic. They strapped it up and said it is quite swollen. You'll probably get the movement back, once the swelling goes down. And they x-rayed it and said it is broken, but it'll heal, and everything should be fine. But just in case, we'll make you an appointment for the hand trauma clinic at the James Cook Hospital, which is like the big teaching hospital around here. Big, massive place it is. And they've got a specialist hand trauma clinic. So I went there, and basically I was expecting to go in 9 o'clock on a morning for, some turbocharged painkillers, a bit of a fancier splint, and say, here's some exercises you can do to get the movement back. No, I was in theatre that afternoon. What's happened is that it's this joint on this finger, this last joint on my third finger, on this hand, obviously, that won't move. I've chipped the bone and detached the tendon. Now, the tendon is apparently like a taut piece of elastic, and as soon as it was detached, it kind of went wallop right down, back down into the palm of my hand. So they had to kind of cut the hand open, pin the bone back to where it needed to be, put a wire on it so I can't move it and disturb that, and then reattach the tendon. That was pretty much Monday taken care of. And then yesterday I was in for the first lot of physiotherapy on it, and I go back each week for the next 6 weeks. I'm going to be in this thing until 6 weeks after from after the date of surgery. So we're coming to the end of the first of those 6 weeks now, and so no guitar playing for me this side of Christmas. So as I pointed out to all of my students, we're gonna delve into the theory. We're going to delve into some music theory and that kind of thing. I do have like a pretty vast these days archive of solos that I've done for YouTube and tabs and stuff like that, and all that kind of stuff. So I can get by with the lessons using that kind of material. And this is the time of year when things tend to tail off a little bit anyway, because most people want a guitar lesson, on an evening because, they're at work or at school or whatever. And this time of year, the social calendar starts to ramp up a little bit, I guess, for most people. So, can we just skip this lesson? I've got this work thing to do and all this. So it is kind of easing off on the general rundown to the season of tinsel-infested madness. As far as YouTube stuff goes, I'm fortunate that, when I first started doing back in 2020, 3 years ago, over 3 years ago now, because it was spring of 2020, when I first started doing like almost daily videos on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I was able to do like a video and a bit each day. So gradually, I've got further and further forward. And what that means for me at the moment is that I've got videos either completed and done and everything, or in production and just a bit of editing to do, which I can do one-handed. Obviously, I can still type just about and use a mouse. So I'm pretty good, pretty much up till the end of January. So in terms of YouTube content, so you're not going to notice any disturbance anytime soon in the YouTube output, because it's already all done and up there. And It's a bump in the road. That's all it is. It's inconvenient. It's killing me that I've got all of these lovely guitars here, and just that I can't tell you how much I've missed playing the guitar. It's been a week and a half now since I've been able to play a guitar, and it is absolutely killing me to not be able to pick up a guitar and just have a jam and just play. It's it's just Paul Trainer saying wear gloves when walking the dog, tight grip. Yeah, I can't walk the dog at the moment either. Because it's sometimes he takes two hands to keep, shall we say, manageable. And you can't let him off the lead because he's a little bugger and he'll just run off. No matter how much recall training we've done, there's still that odd chance. So you've got to keep him on the lead all the time. But having spoke to the vet, what they've said is, mental stimulation is the key. Loads of interactive toys that pay out treats and that sort of stuff. Apparently 15 minutes with one of those toys that kind of dishes out treats when they kind of figure out how to get the treats out of them. 15 minutes with one of those is the equivalent of 45 minutes kind of exercise for the dog. And fortunately, he's not a dog that likes to kind of run and chase a ball or anything like that. That's not his thing. He just likes to kind of snuffle around. So he's going out in the yard, and occasionally he'll do a big zoomy around the house, and then just go and get a drink of water and go to sleep. So there you go. That is what the state of play is. I see Ian Clark is saying ditch the harness and use a collar. The thing is, he's a little bugger and he can wriggle out of the collar as he has done in the past. We shall talk, Ian, at some point. Randy Upchurch. Sir, I will be honoured to talk guitar with you for a bit. Much compassion from Southern Illinois. Well, thank you, mate. Thank you so much. It's very touching, the amount of kind messages that I got on the community post that I put up when I was still half groggy from the anaesthetic and swigging a beer and kind of holding my arm up. That was Monday. I put that post up, and loads of very sweet messages from people there. I'm just really touched that most of you have never met me, and you've only ever seen me kind of talking on a monitor or a TV, and I'm just touched that you feel moved to send me such best wishes. Derek Johnson, what you saying there, mate? What's going on? I've got a weird thing going on here. There we go. That's got it. Derek Johnson is saying, hey, John, hope you're mending well and fast. Did you see the Solo King guitars on Anderton's TV today? They're in the UK now. Unbelievable specs and look stunning. I haven't seen those, but that'll give me something to take a look at tomorrow. Yes, I need to tell you what's coming up on the channel this week, don't I? Before I forget, because I will forget if I don't do it now. Sunday, it's the full review of that rather lovely Gretsch that you saw me doing a first impressions video of yesterday, very generously loaned to me by a pal of mine called David, who's who just kind of loaned me that and that Vox Virage guitar. So the full kind of deep dive review of that, weights and measures and what it sounds like in a mix and all that kind of thing. The usual stuff, basically, my standard format of guitar review. Then on Monday, have you ever noticed that pretty much every band, every classic rock band, or a lot of classic rock bands, maybe not every classic rock band, but many classic rock bands, always just every now and again like to dip their toe in the waters of good old 50s rock and roll or rockabilly. And well, it's one of those. Queen did it with a crazy little thing called Love. Deep Purple did that that album of rock and roll covers a couple of years ago, didn't they? So it's a what you would think of as being a classic 50s rock and roll song that was recorded in the 70s by a band that you didn't really think of as a rock and roll band. So any guesses, please leave in the chat. Then Top 5 Tuesday this coming week is my all-time favourite 5 movie musicals. So Ian Clark saying you're my favourite fat bald northern lad. How many fat bald northern lads do you have, Ian? Tuesday, my favourite movie musicals. I think I've got that right. But anyway, that's that. It's a Top 5 Tuesday video anyway. Then we're talking about viewers' questions on Wednesday. Excuse me, I'm just a little bit still, kind of, getting to grips with things. I got an email from a viewer. It wasn't so much a question. It was a question. It was posed as a question, but he did kind of in a very polite and inquiring way. But he did sort of say, "Why do you always dumb things down in the way that I explain stuff?" So that's basically the question on Wednesday. Am I dumbing things down? No, Stevie Bar, it's not ELO Hold On Tight or Rock and Roll is King either, for that matter. But those are both great tracks to do. No, I'll tell you what it is. It's Best Friends Girl by The Cars. That's what we're doing on Monday. I can't. I'm only telling you because I can't. I'm not clever enough at the moment to think of any more cryptic kind of hints to give you. Somebody basically said that the way I kind of explain stuff is often a little bit dumbed down, which is, I suppose, an observation. So I'm just kind of responding to that and explaining things in the way that makes sense to me. Then Thursday's video is all about Stratocasters and how much they cost, and a peculiar phenomenon that I've noticed with the price of Fender Stratocasters over several decades when I have been able to afford them and I haven't been able to afford kind of nice guitars. There is a particular phenomenon that I've noticed about the price of Fender Stratocasters, and that's what we're going to be talking about on Thursday. The medicine is kicking in, John. I've only had a couple of painkillers today, and that's not for this. This, believe it or not, doesn't hurt. This is absolutely golden. It doesn't hurt. The thing that hurts is because I had a general anaesthetic. They said, and you might have a slightly sore throat after your anaesthetic. Boy, have I got a sore throat. It's feeling like it's kind of the worst case of laryngitis that you can imagine, and so hence there will be some of the traditional Highland medicine being applied later on for that. But it was a bit rough this morning, the throat, so I took a couple of painkillers for that. But this thing, hey, it just doesn't hurt. The worst thing about this is it's in a splint, and of course there's always a really kind of evil nagging itch right where you can't get at it. So sup ale lad, says John Mack. Yeah, well, at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's that's one of the reasons I look forward to Christmas so much, actually, because it's the one day a year where you can crack open a beer with breakfast and nobody judges you. That's the the main thing I enjoy about Christmas, really. So there you go. Anyway, talking about ale, you're going to have to watch me pour one now, actually. I've got the technique down. I've been practicing all week, I'll be honest with you. See, what we do, first of all, there we go. And then kind of cradle it like that against the splint, just to get the angle, and then pour in this direction, and you get a surprisingly good pour. I did get my judgment wrong last night, and ended up looking like I'd had a trouser accident. But you live and learn. There we go. And all good. Yeah, Sean, they did say that I had the option of having it under a local anaesthetic, but apparently the process of administering that anaesthetic takes long, and that's what I opted for. But apparently the process of administering what the anaesthetist called the nerve block takes about an hour longer than giving me a general. And suddenly the hospital got busy and they said, we don't have that hour slack in the system. You can, you'll have to have a general or come back tomorrow for it. Said, no, just give us the general. Yeah, Flatheim Anti-Flake. It's cold and it's wet and it's got 5% alcohol and it tastes of beer, and those are all the criteria it needs to meet for me at the moment. So let's have a look. Michael Purcell saying, "Don't let anyone in your house who gives you shit about having an early drink." No, indeed. Let's have a look. Knitting needles needed for the scratch. Ian Clark, Christmas Day and your wedding day, all day drinking. Yes, indeed. Yes, I remember me and Jackie's wedding day. She spent the night before with a friend, so I didn't kind of see her in the dress or anything like that. We did the old kind of traditional sort of thing, and me and my best man, who's I think watching this at the moment but not in the chat, old pal of mine, we were having Irish coffees first thing on the morning, and Timbo saying, "Indeed, John, coffee at 6 a.m. with Baileys instead of milk." Yeah, being an ex-naval student, merchant navy student, radio officer cadet, that's how I spent my teenage years. The Christmas tradition is a drink called gunfire, which is tea or coffee. It's supposed to be tea, but I like coffee on a morning, laced with a good old glug of navy grog, a kind of good old helping of rum, and and I drink my coffee on a morning out of a pint mug, so you get a couple of pints of those down you, and Christmas morning there's usually kind of a bottle of Bucks Fizz knocking around, so by about 8 a.m. you start to kind of get a bit of a buzz on then, and then it's the full English breakfast: bacon, eggs, sausage, beans, fried bread, black pudding, tomatoes, fried mushrooms, the whole 9 yards, so that soaks a bit of that up. And our backyard at the moment is resplendent with 15 kegs of Theakston's Best Bitter, which is a good session ale because it's a nice tasting beer, but it doesn't knock your head off, so you can kind of drink it all day, and we will be. So there you go. So we've got Robert Gallagher in. Nice to see you, mate. I see I've got a couple of super chats in here. Paul Trainer, thank you so much, mate. And Michael Purcell saying, have a beer on Shane McGowan. Yes, sadly missed. I do hope that Fairy Tale of New York gets to #1 this year. Well, I don't actually. I hope that Jingle Bells Jam gets to #1 this year. My little collaboration with. I'll tell you what. I'll do a deal with you. I hope that Fairy Tale of New York gets to #1 and we get to #2 with Jingle Bells Jam, which is now officially available on all your major streaming platforms, and Amazon and iTunes, Apple Music. It's anywhere where you normally buy music, you can buy that little kind of ditty, that little version of Jingle Bells that I did with the help of the very generous and kind of incredibly talented help of Steve Cassidy guitar and the Lamb. Those guys really knocked it out the park on that one. And I thought it would be just a daft little Christmas ditty that we would kind of knock together. And in a way it was, because I did like the backing track and my guitar parts in about an hour and a half, and then sent it out to the other guys for them to do their bits. But I listened to it for the first time in a week or so, just the other day, on Spotify, just to make sure it was playing properly when they told me it had it was officially released. And I'm actually rather proud of it. It's called Jingle Bells Jam, John Mack. It's called Jingle Bells Jam. And all proceeds from the single will go to Zoe's Place Baby Hospice in Middlesbrough. We had Rachel from Zoe's Place on the live stream a couple of weeks ago, and she really, really knocked it out the park, telling us what Zoe's Place is all about. Basically, they provide support and therapy and respite care and palliative care to children under 5 with life-limiting diseases and their families. And it's a little local charity around here. They have branches elsewhere in the country, but it's the charity that in this part of the world, that if you do anything for charity, like if you do sitting in a bathtub full of baked beans, which seems to be a charity thing that people seem to always want to do, anything you do for charity, a fun run or anything like that, usually in this part of the world people do it for Zoe's Place. So that's the charity that that all proceeds go to. I've released it via DistroKid. They don't take a cut, so every time you spend 99 pence buying that single on Amazon, that 99 pence, every last penny of it goes to Zoe's Place. So and let's have a look. Deco, dude, what you saying there, mate? John, I fell over when Piston snapped my finger back at that joint. It sounded like a carrot snapping. It's okay. It's okay now. Yeah, this is what I've been told by the last official advice from the physiotherapist, the lovely Alicia that I saw at the hospital on yesterday, in fact. She said, you will get full movement back. You will get the kind of movement back that, a non-musician would consider full movement. She says, I can't guarantee that in your specialized case you will get, back to the same, kind of level of movement as you had before. But, and to be honest with you, I'll take that. There was a time when I was thinking, in a couple of very dark days after it happened, when I thought, am I ever going to be able to play the guitar again? And it's to have that reassurance that, yes, I will be able to play again. And you know what? If I have to adapt, I have to adapt. It didn't do Tony or Iommi or, Django Reinhardt any harm to have to kind of adapt. And maybe there'll be some upside to it. There will be, as soon as I can play again, there will be at least one video, I should imagine, of me documenting what it's like to get my fingers back on the guitar again. Yes, but anyway, Jingle Bells Jam, it's available. It's on general release. It's eligible for chart certification. Let's try and at least kind of get it somewhere near, all this kind of stuff. Well, let's try and shoot for the number 1 spot. It would be nice, wouldn't it? But let's try and get it somewhere near. So if you have Spotify or anything like that, just kind of set it playing on a loop or something and just kind of get it streaming. And as I say, all of the proceeds you know, the meager proceeds that you get from Spotify, it has to be said. But all of those proceeds will go to Zoe's Place. And I just want to say, like, you know, a massive thank you to everybody who donated via that live stream. The live stream when Rachel from Zoe's Place was on, all the super chats from that live stream went to Zoe's Place, and there was over £200 that, and some generous soul made a whopping £1,000 donation to Zoe's Place via the website as a result of that live stream. And that is just, you know, I got an absolutely glowing email from one of the people at Zoe's Place, Chloe, saying that you know, that they were overwhelmed with the generosity of you chaps. So, you know, kind of reach round and give yourselves all a big old pat on the back. You've done the world a good turn there with your generosity a couple of weeks ago on that live stream. So you've got Peter Shields in. And what else? What are you saying there, Johnny Random? John, I had my tendon stitched back together, put a circular saw through it, so a bit different. It took me 11 weeks to get full use back. Yeah, but you got it back, mate. You got it back, and that's all I'm focusing on at the moment. Johnny Love, what you saying there, mate? Anyone ever had an overly bright telly neck pickup? Acquired a guitar with bare knuckle brown sugar telly set to pickups. Bridge is fine, neck extremely bright. It's the opposite problem I've had, really, with Telecaster neck pickups. If anything, most of the time they're fine. But if I have ever had a complaint with a Telecaster neck pickup, it's always that it's been a bit too muddy. Never had a Telecaster neck pickup that's too bright. I have got a Telecaster project which I shouldn't really tell you about at the moment, but there is this guitar, which was the last guitar I bought before the calamity. This Jet JT 350, and in a shameless, absolutely blatant knockoff of Mr. Steve Cassidy's idea, where he took a Jet guitar that and then just kind of splurged a load of money at modding it. You know, that's exactly what I'm going to do with that guitar. There is a local, well, I won't tell you what I'm going to do with it, but there's going to be some serious kind of root and branch upgrades to that guitar. So, you know, it may even be a guitar that that could become my number one at the moment. Is there an Amazon link to the tune? I can find it for you, mate. Let me just open a new tab on the browser here, and you'll have to bear with me because I am typing one-handed. Jingle Bells Jam. So all you got to do is search for that on Amazon, and it's the first result that comes up. So here we go. Let's see if I can find a way to share this. Share this album. There we go. And copy link. Right. So I'm just going to put there we go. That was easy. Paste. Here is the Amazon link to buy said Jingle Bells Jam. So there you go. Let's have a look. Calbean Rocco Cat saying mod videos are interesting as all get out. Okay, fair enough, mate. But back to the Telecaster neck pickup. My favourite Telecaster neck pickup, I would say, is Well, it's one of two in terms of single coil neck pickup for a Telecaster. Years ago, gosh, where are we now? At least 10 years ago, I had a Fender Light Ash Telecaster. And if you can locate one of those guitars for a decent price, jump on it. It is an absolute fantastic guitar. It was one of those things that Fender occasionally do where they kind of shoot themselves in the foot. You had an ash body with a bird's eye maple neck, abalone inlays, Seymour Duncan Alnico Pro 2 pickups, and because it was made in Korea, it was actually just a little bit cheaper than the what was before the Player Series, the Standard Series, the Made in Mexico Telecaster, and and they were absolutely fantastic guitars. And just like a really classy headstock as well. It didn't say Telecaster, it just had just said Fender on it. So it looked a bit like a sort of a no-caster. It had that kind of vibe going on. And like an idiot, I sold it when we had some money troubles. But that guitar had, as I say, Seymour Duncan Alnico Pro 2 pickups in it. And that was just the perfect Telecaster neck pickup. That said, the Faisley, which is over there, you can't see it, the Faisley Outlaw Coyote Plus, which is my kind of main source of Telecaster tones these days, that has Tone Rider Alnico 2 blues pickups in it, and they are very, very, very close to the old Seymour Duncan Alnico Pro 2s. So if you're on a budget, just grab one of those Tone Riders. Absolutely fantastic pickups for Telecaster. It absolutely kind of growls, that guitar now, and it's absolutely fantastic. Excuse me, just going to have a quick vape. Sean House is saying, did you have a chance to see if the satellites humbuckers, in inverted commas, are single coils with Pepsi can covers before the incident? I didn't, but, watch this space, mate. Watch this space. You can see it on the wall there behind me. I have done a demo video of that, which I think that's scheduled for January at some point. And so, yeah, and it turned in a decent performance. It was just, I absolutely love that guitar. Not because it's a fantastic guitar. It isn't. It's a cheap 1970s plywood, not very well made Les Paul copy, but the gesture of kindness that brought it to me and the memories that it's brought back for me are absolutely golden and precious. James Hunt saying that Fender Light Ash Telly on reverb for about £800. Yeah, they are. I think I paid just a shade over 300 for mine. That was a while ago, obviously, but can you hear Dougal barking in the background? But while I'm up here, officially, can't do air quotes at the moment, but, working, Dougal is officially the wife's responsibility. The only mod a Telecaster needs is new strings. Yeah, okay, so a few people are familiar with the Light Ash Telecaster. They are, I think just one of those little hidden gems that if you can find, they are. And the other thing is, of course, 22 fret neck, which is, something that I do. I'm just irrationally kind of bothered about that. A 21 fret neck is something of a deal breaker for me, and it's just, I shouldn't care, but I do. Let's have a look. See what else we need to talk about. Strumming Ronin is saying speedy recovery, John. Well, thank you, mate. As I say, I am blown away by the kind wishes you've said. John North is saying, I'm sure you've explained, John, but bloody hell, what happened? What on earth has happened? I got my finger caught in the dog's lead. He pulled the wrong way. My finger went the wrong way. Broken bone, detached tendon, surgery. I'm out of action for a while. That's the long and the short of it, mate. It's the thing is, I mean, I don't want to harp on about this, but as long-term viewers of this channel will know that back in 2021, I had a little visit from the cancer fairy, and that didn't bloody stop me. So I'm buggered if I'm going to let a dodgy finger kind of stop me in my tracks. As I say, it's just adapt and move on. Which is when, like the physiotherapist yesterday says, are you right-handed or left-handed? I said, well, I'm right-handed, but I said, but this is the hand that pays the mortgage, and explained what I do for a living. And she says, oh, well, that could be difficult. I said, I'll make do. I'll find a way. I've got, kind of video content that I can use in lessons. I've got, kind of written music. I've got stuff prepared. I wouldn't say I prepared it for such an eventuality, but it's just stuff that I've got that, if you do some lesson content and you do it on the computer, then, you hit save, don't you? So that you can use it again sometime. Vincent Brennan saying, maybe time to broaden your talents, time for some singing lessons. Nope. That's not going to happen. Tony P's off. Got to go watch on replay. Bye all. Well, thanks for joining us, mate. Nice to have you here. Rick Cookson saying, ouch, hope it heals quickly. Yep. Peter, it was an extended dog lead. It was an extendable dog lead. That's the thing. And I just got my hand in the wrong place at the wrong time. Lead was held in this hand got in the way at the wrong time, and well, here we are. But it's no good crying about it, is it? Excuse me, I need more beer. I need considerably more beer. And time for another pour. Let's see if I can get a better head on this one, shall we? But as I say, it's there we go. This is the knack. It's just resting there on the splint, not putting any weight on my hand. That was something the physiotherapist said to me yesterday. Do not use the hand for anything other than the exercises we've given you. So that's going to be the first thing I need to do after I've spoken to you chaps, actually, is it'll be time to do the exercises again. I've got to do them every 2 hours. And the last ones were for, that's not bad. That's not bad, is it? Come on. A one-handed pour. We can live with that. Let's have a look. Deco, dude, what you saying there, mate? John, new guitar day, just delivered 30 minutes ago. Harley Benton HB 120 CE NT blue. That you'll have to enlighten me, mate. Which one is that? The HB 120. I just wish they'd give them model names. HB 120 CE NT. That's it's like kind of. Sounds like a fax machine, doesn't it? Or something. Anyway, I can show my age there, aren't I? Fax machines. I can show my age even more, actually. The first time I used a fax machine, it was still called a facsimile machine, and that was witchcraft to me. That was it's like a photocopier, but the copy comes out at the other end of a phone call. That's amazing. It's like here we are in this information wonderland, but first time I ever used a facsimile machine, dear me, yes. And they've gone into the dustbin of history along with kind of VHS and Betamax machines, kind of 8-track cartridges and quadraphonic sound, haven't they? Oh, here's a question: has quadraphonic sound made a sort of a stealth comeback? Because nowadays, we've all got some kind of system. Well, most of us have. We certainly have here some kind of system connected to our TVs where you have effectively quadraphonic sound. Speakers around the room, kind of thing. Oh, John Mack, that's a bit naughty, mate. Yes, I'm not putting that up on screen. I've got monetization to think about. Let's have a look, see what we got. I'm pouring me beer better than before, says Dr. Gomez 1. Yes. Well, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of practice this evening. I have no lessons until midday tomorrow. So, and I'm usually up at about 5:30. So that's a nice kind of long run in, isn't it? And what's that, Craig? John, did you ask what Eric Morecambe asked his doctor? Will I be able to play the violin? Doctor said, yes, no problem. Eric, that's good. I couldn't before. Yeah. It's getting around that time of year, isn't it, for some Eric Morecambe stuff? Christmas isn't Christmas without at least one episode of Morecambe and Wise. And you've seen them all before. You've seen all of the kind of skits before. I'm playing all the right notes, not necessarily in the right order, And, anyone outside the UK has no idea what I'm talking about. Basically, big, fantastic comedy duo in the 70s and 80s, Morecambe and Wise, and their Christmas special was pretty much the Christmas event of the year. That was, and it's just for anybody who grew up during that period, Christmas isn't Christmas without watching a rerun or two. Brad Dowell saying, have you ever tried any Tokai guitar? Yes, I have. I've tried a few Tokai guitars. Last one I tried was about 4 or 5 years ago. It was a Tokai SG that someone very generously donated to me to sell on for Zoe's place. Unfortunately, it had a knackered truss rod in it. And that was the end of that. But I played like the Tokai Breezy sound, which is the Telecaster, the Tokai, was it the Star sound, which is the Strat. They're great guitars. They are, especially if you get the Japanese ones. Colin, Guitarista's guy, he did a thing in Denmark Street where, he bought a Tokai Les Paul. And the guy in the shop was saying, basically that these things have talked more people out of buying Gibson Les Pauls than it's a Tokai Love Rock, isn't it? Their Les Paul model. So yeah, I don't have a Tokai. I don't. Have I ever owned one? I've played loads that belong to students. And occasionally a student will leave a guitar with me to do a bit of a setup on, so I'll kind of have it for a few days and play it and what have you. I'm just trying to think if I've ever owned a Tokai guitar. I don't think I have. That might be something to look at this year, actually, or this coming year. Let's have a look. Brad Dowell saying, I have a Tokai Love Rock Japan, just as good as the Gibson, if not better, because it's cheaper. Yep. I've got to tell you, that we all know now, don't we, that once upon a time when, a guitar was very much a handmade thing, it depended upon the skill of the person whose hands were making it and whether they were, what kind of mood they were in, and whether they were hungover on a Monday morning or whether they want to kind of get an early finish on a Friday afternoon. But there's so much CNC now that it's like it's. I often think that these people who get like a Harley Benton or a Faisley or name any budget brand guitar, and they say, yeah, well, I had one of those and it wouldn't intonate properly. The bridge was in the wrong place. What, the CNC machine just made an exception for that guitar, did it, to drill the holes in the wrong place? These things are all just kind of built by robots nowadays. So, consequently, I mean, this thing here, this Jet, yes, you can tell it's built down to a price. There are certain things, which is why I want to upgrade it, that you can think, well, yeah, if only they'd spent a few more quid here and there, but it's bones, the timber, fantastic guitar, absolutely fantastic. This is going to get some serious modding going on, and it was 300 quid. Oh, hello, it's, I've just realised I've put a chip in it, but so that's it. It's a keeper now. But I don't care about that kind of thing. I don't mind battle scars that come. Honestly, it's just a shame it's got a chip in it before you've seen the videos with it in. But yeah, it's the quality of cheap guitars nowadays is absolutely astounding, and why do you need to buy a Gibson Les Paul? Why do you need to buy a Fender Stratocaster? Well, I bought my Gibson Les Paul because I wanted a trophy, and I'll happily admit that. It was just like I'd had a good year, and I wanted a little kind of reward to give myself. But you don't need to spend that kind of money on guitars. Michael Belleville saying, "How many kegs and where's your backyard?" There's 15 kegs in my backyard in Redcar, but the guard dog, and look, his guard, and look what he's done to me. So at your own risk, mate. Let's have a look, see what else we got. In the dying moments of the game, Vincent Brennan, you're saying CNC has changed your guitar manufacturer for the better. What a couple of £100 can buy is amazing. Indeed, it is, mate. Theme tunes. Where have you gone, mate? There you are. CNC has freed countless generations from overpriced, terrible guitars. Technology in action. This is it. I mean, it's the same thing with other fields as well. I mean, there was a chap that when I was growing up, right, my parents had a shop, a general dealer's store, as you would probably say, and the company that we bought our bread from, we used to get visits from the area manager every now and again, and I can't remember what kind of car it was, but it was a big flash car, and it had little buttons that you could press in the car, and the windows would wind up and down all by themselves. Imagine that. That was like witchcraft to me in the 70s. You try finding even the cheapest car, these days that doesn't have electric windows. It's the standard has elevated, and that's happened in, I mean, we didn't own a television set until when I was growing up, until I'd kind of left home and I was in my 20s. My parents didn't own a television set. They used to rent one because they were just too expensive to buy, so, everything well, not everything, but, kind of a lot of consumer goods, guitars included, cars, technology, whatever, it's just got cheaper and more accessible as the years have gone on. And, that's to be applauded, I think. Let's have a look. I see we've got a James May fan in here. Alice Grant, the Dacia Sandero. Is it Dacia or Dacia? James May always used to say Dacia, didn't he? Peter Johnson saying, I have a Faisley 64 T-type, fabulous guitar. Bought it to mod, has become my main practice guitar, sitting right next to me as I type. Yeah, I mean, I do have not a business relationship with Faisley, but I do have a relationship with them where they send me guitars and I make videos about them. They send me them on loan. They don't get to dictate what goes in the videos, and if the guitar has faults, I will tell you about them, as I did on the last lot of guitars that came from Faisley. But by and large, I mean, they are absolutely fantastic guitars. Considering going back to that satellite Les Paul copy there, you pick up a guitar like that, which the satellite Les Paul copy that I had in the about 1980 or thereabouts, it was £80 back then, and you do the calculation, that's kind of Squire Classic vibe kind of money in modern terms. It's like 300 plus change, and it's just there's no comparison. God, we sound luxury. We used to live in Orient Road and all of that kind of Monty Python stuff. Anyway, chaps, I'm going to wrap things up there because, not to put too fine a point on it, what goes in has to come out. And that's starting to make its presence felt at the moment. And one-handed, things take a little bit longer than usual. I'll spare you the gory details, but you know what I'm talking about. So, we're going to wrap it up there, folks. Thank you once again for turning up and watching a fat, bald, one-handed northern monkey talk about, whatever was on his mind for an hour, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.